Right, let me tell you about today's guest. 25 years in dentistry, 2 countries. She trained in Lahore and she practices in the UK. She came here and did what thousands of overseas dentists are terrified of. She sat the overseas registration examination and she passed. She built an entire dental career from scratch. Today, she's an implant surgeon, not in one UK practice, but in 5 dental practices in the UK. And she trains the next generation of dentists coming up behind her. But that's not why she's here. She's here because behind the calm, behind the professional smile, something is wrong in this profession. Because dentistry is quietly breaking its dentists. And today, someone with nothing left to prove is going to talk about it honestly. Dr. Bazgah, welcome to Between Patients.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Moise. Yeah, is it 25 years? I thought it's only 5 years. I look more older now.
Oh, wow.
Is it 25 years? Let's say 5 years.
All right,
Yeah.
let's say 5 years. Amazing. Yeah. Why not? Everyone, she's been in dentistry for about 5 years only.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Bazgah. Pleasure is all mine to have you on the podcast. And I believe today's podcast is a great opportunity for some dentists to smile as well. And of course, learn about this topic as well. So Bazgah, take me back to Lahore, the late 90s. What really made you pick dentistry in the first place?
I think it's like a typical Pakistani, you can say Asian family when everyone, mostly girls, we want to be doctors. So one of my cousin, she was a doctor. She was pretty. She was tall, beautiful. So I was inspired. I said, maybe when I'll be doctor, I'd be pretty like her, tall like her. So I worked hard, studied hard to be a doctor. But then obviously there were some personal issues. Obviously, they were planned for me to get married early. So my parents and family thought dentistry is better. They don't want me more nights. It's an easygoing profession. So obviously I got admission in Fatma Jinnah Medical College in Lahore. I got admission in Nishtar Medical College in Multan and Demont. But when I started dentistry, basically, there was an opportunity to go back and study the medicine. And then I realized, no, I don't want to study medicine anymore because the dentistry is a field, It's not that tough as medicine, but it actually is quite rewarding, Obviously, I didn't know about the finances and financial thing that I will get better financially, paying back as compared to medicine. In Pakistan, mostly it's like doctors, they've been respected quite a lot. Pakistan, if I was like that kind of thing. I realized when I came back here in UK, again, not planned at all. There was no planning. Just my colleagues, they were applying for UK and I did so. I came here without planning, without any homework, but I did it, I did it. And then I realized, oh, yes, that's the right choice. But now I think nowadays, children, they are prepared more. They do the work experiences. They check other profession. They see whether this is the right thing for you to do or not, But I learned through it. I am the first dentist in my family. So there were like many doctors, but I was the first dentist. And now my nieces and nephews, they're in the dentistry now, just looking at me that I'm doing well. So there was no proper, clear roadmap for me. So I have to carve my own way,
One thing I really find it fascinating is the typical trend in Pakistan. Yep. So there are a couple of professions that seem to be, a really premium class. So like we've got doctors, we've got dentists, of course, under doctors, and then we've got engineers and we've got chartered accountants as well.
Yes,
so I believe these 3 to 4 professions is something that people really see them as something that's premium, is something that, the individual is to be worth respected of. So you mentioned about Demont, of course, the oldest dental college in Pakistan. You studied.
Yeah.
So that was right besides the Badshahi Mosque. So what exactly was it like training there to be a dentist?
Obviously, we had lots of patients, and there was so much practical work. We done so many like extractions, surgical procedures, fillings, perio treatments. So that has actually trained me. There are a few of my colleagues, when we have get together, And they blame, they say, oh, we haven't learned anything. But I actually learned from them. What I'm doing is basically is learning from there, because and it's as a patient, the dentistry is not like we're writing prescription and that's it. It's a hands-on, like we are kind of technician. We're working on the patient. So that kind of practice, I've done that in the DMOT. And then my vocational training was in PIMS, Islamabad, Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences in Islamabad. And Dr. Ansar Maqsood was my supervisor, and amazing, amazing supervisor. So I've got good teachers. I've got good mentors. And they have, whatever I am, I'm being carved by them. Really nice teachers, near seniors, mentors. So I'm being blessed.
MashaAllah, that's absolutely good to know. And on top of that, so you have built a whole dental career in Pakistan, the FCPS, the residency,
FCPS,
and
yes.
your own evening practices,
That's my
right?
dad. That's my dad.
Uh-huh.
Basically, when I remember he was dropping me for my first day for my vocational training. So we have very nice road in Islamabad. So we're driving, and I like nicely dressed up, as a doctor. I got a white gown, and I was thinking, okay, studies are over. I'm not going to study anymore. That's done. And my daddy, he said, Bazgah, what's your next plan? Are you going to apply for FCPS Part 1? I was so angry. My mood was like totally. I said, why? What do you want me to do? I've just done, BDS graduation and that's it. I'm not touching books anymore. But I didn't say anything. I was a very obedient child. I said, gee, daddy, I'll do something, And he actually, ignited that thing. And then I submitted the paper for Part 1. I passed the Part 1. I think he did the right thing. So the children, they need a little bit push, So, yeah. And I was the first fresh graduate who was doing the FCPS training. So we were like 4 or 5 candidates doing the FCPS Part 2 training in PIMS. So I was a fresh graduate. So
All
others were
right, all right.
senior. So, and just all down to my father. Yeah.
Wow, mashallah, that's quite good to know. So, of course, I mean, you already had a whole dental career in Pakistan. But my question really is, why exactly, you left all of that to start again in the UK dentistry from zero? Why?
Yeah, that's actually sometimes I miss it. I miss Pakistan, because working as a dentist in Pakistan is amazing, because people give you respect. You have like house support, you say, house help, but which you don't have in UK. Obviously, we're being paid much better in UK, but sometimes I miss it. But it's at that time. Uh, all of my fellow colleagues, they were applying for the UK, and I did so. I did it. I got it. They went back, and I stayed.
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
when I take step, I make sure I complete it. So I don't leave it halfway. So I said, now I'm here, even though without homework. So I completed it then. Hmm.
That's amazing. And another thing I really want to cover is, be honest with me over here. The ORE for
Oh,
overseas dentists, trying to get into the UK dentistry. The exam
yeah.
gets talked about like a wall. What was it
Ah.
actually like?
So when I came, there used to be an exam. It's called IQE, International Qualifying Exams, and there was a last, like a exam when I came, and they said only there are only few weeks left to apply for the exam, but I need to do the IELTS, the English qualifying exam as well. So no homework, no prep done. So I missed that last sitting, and then I have to wait for 2 years for my first ORE exam, which is in 2008. We're talking about 2008 time. So I came here in 2006, but it was okay, because my daughter, she was younger, so I gave her more time. I started studying for MFDS. I started doing some other things as well, like professionally, to make myself professionally stronger. So for me, it was okay. It was hard. It was hard sometimes, because you want to you are like a specialist. You've done your FCPS and certain other membership qualifications as well, and you're not even working here as a dentist. So sometimes it is stressful. It is a little bit annoying a little bit. But as I mentioned, when I start doing something, I make sure I finish it. And they were like my seniors. I saw them passing the exam, so I did it. It was hard. It wasn't easy. It was expensive. It was very hard. But yeah, we've gone through that.
I believe
That's history now.
One other thing that you mentioned is if you start something, you always finish. I believe that trait
Exactly.
alone is something
Exactly.
that is very rare
Exactly.
if we talk about people specifically. For instance, if I were to start any sort of project or any sort of degree, because of course
Uh,
there are going to be some days where it's going to feel like it's absolutely impossible to finish it. The other day, I was speaking to Dr. Hamza from MedConnect Europe, and he mentioned when he was
mm,
in Bulgaria doing the dentistry degree, it was just absolutely impossible for him to cover because he really couldn't understand about the stuff he was going through. It was just so difficult, but he was like, he never gave up. So I propose a particular point is you only lose the moment you give up, right? So I
mm,
believe,
ex-
again, to kind of talk about it, it's a wonderful trait
mm,
to have if you see some sort of person. If they start something, they finish it. That's absolutely amazing.
yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Basically.
Now the locum years. Yeah. So driving around the UK, a different dental practice every week, and home visits, all of it. So what did the decade of rebuilding an entire dental career really feel like?
So that gave me the opportunity to understand the UK dentistry. I was thinking, oh, it's UK, and it will be different than Pakistan dentistry. But then I realized, no, that's actually very basic. Back home, we were using better materials, we were using better equipment. So we had a better, I was doing the rotary root canals well before then when I came here. So then I realized, and they were doing the paper notes. So working in different areas, the Harley Street and sometime in the suburbs and the city area. So I made me understand, you know, what actually patient is looking for, what actually patient wants from the dentist, the patient expectation, how the dentists are communicating with the patient. And also the micro and macro structure or structure of the practice basically. So that wasn't like a big thing for me. When I started practicing, I knew what I'm doing. So I was kind of like already trained, when I started seeing my patients. So you don't feel at all alienated at all. So that gave me opportunity to understand my field of dentistry so I can provide better patient care. So because we have a duty of care, so it helped me,
All right. So
assisted me.
amazing. So that gave you the opportunity to learn more about the field and, of course, to give
Exactly. Yeah.
better patient care.
Hmm.
That's nice. And of course, at some point you stopped locuming, right? And started building something of your own in UK dentistry. Tell me about that.
So that was my aim, to buy my own practice. And I used to have like meeting with my accountant and say, you know what, I'm saving up to buy my own practice and this is what I'm looking for. And most of the patients who come to see, they say, why are you working for someone else? You have so much good skills, and it's down to my communication basically. My dentistry work maybe might not be that better than the other person because communication wise I'm good with my patients. So they were saying, oh, you need to open your own practice, and that was my aim. So yes, I did it, and it was like initial stages. But you know what, I'm kind of full-time mom as well. So if I'm working, I have arranged my working time. Basically how it worked, like I work during the school hours, and I'm with my children all the time. When they have their term break, I'm with them. So when I started doing that own clinic thing, I went on a holiday. There was a phone call, there's something broken down, the nurse is not there. So all of those kind of managerial things, equipment broken down, all of those things. So it actually causes stress. I said, that's what I don't want to have. I don't want extra stress. And it was affecting my personal life. Now, mostly my upbringing with the children and stuff. So I said, okay, and so you need to look for your priority. What's your priority is to open a practice. Why are you opening a practice? For your family. But when family is not happy, they want you, they don't want your practice. And other thing was, that's what my content used to say, you know what, associates, sometimes they are more than the principal dentist. because the principal dentist, they have to pay the outgoings, they have to pay the bills, they have to pay for the premises. Some also principal dentists, they have the loan for the practice. So, and that's what happened with me. So there was a big chunk of the payment was going towards the loan and the salary staff, and take home was quite less. So I was thinking, all of my life I'm working and I'm still getting take home is less. So I said, no, it's better to work in associate. So maybe, I'm not saying I won't open a practice, but maybe in the future. But right now, I think I love my associate life because gives me freedom, for my lifestyle, basically. I can manage my hours. When I work 8:30 to 3:30, basically it's 3:15. So 8:30 to 3:15, and 3:30 my daughter's school finishes. So I drop her to the school and I pick her up and come back home. And then obviously when I come back home, that's it, the door closes. And that's my personal life starts. So why are you working? You're working to get a better personal life. So otherwise, if it's your own business, then it's your own business. It's 7 days a week, actually.
Yeah,
You
actually.
can't manage 3 to 4 days a week. Yeah.
100%. I can absolutely relate with that because yesterday I was speaking to Dr. Dahlia Brinkler. She's at Harper's Dental Practice. And one of the things that the main topic was really why patients follow dentists and not the building, the dental practices itself. And it's really intriguing. And one of the point we talked about is, of course, since you really articulate as well, and the way you mentioned, the way you deal with the patients and the communication, it just plays a massive part.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, patients are specifically going to be coming back just for the doctor itself because the
Just for the
way the
doctor,
doctor
yeah.
treated. I
Yeah.
mean, just having the intimate and the personal bond with the patient is just something that's super rare in 2026 because right now what majority of the dental practices they try to do, patient comes in, we charge them for the treatment and that's pretty much it, and just never really focus on the quality. But I believe again this is another really beautiful trait, really understanding what patients need and building a personal relationship with them so the next time the patient comes back looking for you. And you talked about your own dental practice that you're running. And of course, yesterday I actually posted on Instagram as well, page number 38 of my book, The $2 Dentist. What I really mentioned was there are three typical problems dental practices they usually face. One is patients, they just don't have enough demand of the patients coming in. Secondly is the money, right? They're just undercharging. They're cutting down their margins. They're not charging enough because the price alone is not going to compete if there are a lot of other dental practices in that
I've
specific
gone
city
through
as
that.
well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And lastly, which is something that just breaks a lot of practice owners, is people, right? The practice can't run without you. Because I mean, think about it. If you want to have your own personal time, spend time with your children, your family, and it's going to be really hard for you to manage your personal life, right? And your practices, because at the end of the day, you want to ensure the practice can run to its maximum effectiveness and efficiency. So in that way, if you're running your own business, I believe managing work-life balance is something that's really, really hard, isn't it?
Because you need to manage the finances, you have to manage the staff. Then so thing is basically what you want to do, what you like to do most, basically. So I like doing practical clinical practice. So maybe I'm not good in management, but I can hire a good manager to run a
Yeah,
practice. But again,
100%.
these things take other, like it's a business approach, which I think, it's not for everyone, basically. So, and also you don't have freedom. You don't have that much freedom. If it's your business, you need to run it. So 7 days a week,
Yeah.
you are actually, so work. But in UK, it's good. Working as associate, it's not bad because
Absolutely. Yeah, I can 100% understand the fact. And the matter of fact, talking about selling a practice, my grandfather, Muhammad Salim Akhtar, he was a brilliant dentist. And he
yeah.
sold his practice. He established that in 1993 and sold that in 2018. Ran that for about 25 years. I mean, selling a practice, it's strange kind of grief, isn't it? Letting go of your practice you built.
Yeah. So mine was very initial stage. It was so I haven't got any emotional attachment to the practice. Actually, I was relieved. And I thought I made a good decision. And whenever I would think, I just thank God. I say, thank God I've took that decision. So it was the initial days, and I'm glad I made that decision. So maybe in the future, you never know. But when my youngest daughter has grown more older, but that's the right decision I made.
You see, my family has been in dentistry for the past 70 years. My grandfather, he ran his own practice for about 25 years from 1993 till 2018 and eventually sold it. And I can tell you one single problem that has never changed in all that time, which is the phone. You see, I have called hundreds of dental practices across the UK every single hour slot, whether that's morning, that's afternoon, or that's evening. And the receptionist says the same thing every single time. And every single time, 1 in 3 patient calls, they typically go unanswered or they just simply go to the phone. And next day, your receptionist comes in, calls those patients back, and you come to know that they've already booked their appointment with another practice. I mean, ideally, you're paying for those patients, you're paying for those clicks if you're running paid ads. And those patients call your practice, nobody's there to pick up the phone, and they just simply ring the next practice on Google. I mean, this is exactly why we've built Maya. It's an AI voice receptionist for dental practice specifically. She picks up your calls 24/7, whether that's bank holidays, that's after hours, that's weekend, doesn't matter. She doesn't get sick. She picks up all the calls, books the patient straight into your diary, reschedules, cancels them accordingly. It's GDPR compliant. The data is stored in the UK, and you're also provided with every single call recording so you can track everything. So that is exactly why I would love to give you 14 days free trial on the house. You don't need any sort of card, no upfront payment. Just simply go to selenicai.com, SELENICAI.com. If your practice phone rings when nobody's there, Maya's already there to answer. Just book a call with me and I'll see if you're a perfect fit for it. Now back to the podcast. Absolutely, 100%. Now, getting to the heart of the podcast, which is something I really want to talk about, is dentistry is quietly breaking its dentists. Okay.
Mm,
And I
mm,
really wanted to talk about this. And of course, you picked this topic. And
mm.
the question really is, why does dentistry break its dentists?
Dentistry is rewarding profession, no doubt about it. It's a rewarding profession. The financial income is better than any other profession. When you're graduated, you don't need to do any further qualification, to be honest, even though I have done it and I'm still doing it. But you don't have to do it. Even if you're a general dentist, you can earn really good, decent money, even without owning a practice. So it's a rewarding profession, but there is a stress in dentistry, especially in UK and other countries like that, and there's a fear of litigation, complaints, which is quite a lot here. We work like we have a busy appointment schedule. So and the patient, we're dealing most of the time, patients are very anxious, and when they enter in the room, they say, first thing they say, we hate dentists. And so, and they apologize. It's not about you, but actually, I hate dentists. That's their first thing to say. That's the first negative thing to say. And then there's certain complex treatment to do. And then those treatments, you need to do it right and give a better result. There's a pressure. And on the top, even though you're working as an associate, there is still administrative responsibilities. You have to do a certain kind of administrative jobs. Your manager is texting, your receptionist is texting, and also there is a pressure to achieve the good clinical outcome. So all of those things, and we work in a small space. We work in millimeters. When the root canal, if it's a millimeter short or millimeter top, we're placing an implant, a millimeter or 2 millimeter makes a big difference. So it is actually quite stressful. And I have actually collected the data. It is from the British Dental Journal, and they say there was a survey which is published in BDJ, and they found around 55% of dentists reported high level of job stress. 55%. Wow. More than half dentists, they are stressed from the job, and 44%, they say that the stress is so much that it has exceeded to ability to cope with that level of stress, basically. And even more concerning is 17.6 reported that they're having serious thoughts about suicide. 17.6.
Wow,
Can you imagine that? So if there's
that's
100
unbelievable.
dentists in a room, so 17 just under 20 dentists, they're thinking about suicide. So this is a real survey published in BDJ. So this basically this highlights, how important is to talk openly about the stress. Okay, most of dentists, we don't talk about it, and we hide these kind of emotions and these kind of issues. But we need to be open about that. Yes, it's stressful. We know it's not, basically it's not, we can't avoid the stress. But the thing is how we can cope and manage, and all other professions, they have stresses too. It's not, dentistry is not only profession with the stress. Their litigation complaint in other professions too. So why dentists are suffering more? So I think because this is quite isolating profession. So, when you go in office, you have a team, everyone, they can have their lunch together or they can have breaks. So other day my nurse was saying that, Bazgah, look at the office girls, when they start, they can have a cup of tea, they will have their fan, relax, and then they start their work, and then in between work they take breaks, and then they take it easy. And look at us, we're just working like machine.
Yeah,
When
100%.
then my nurse comes in, she set up the surgery, patient is waiting, and even if we are running late, there's a pressure of running late, and other people, they have to go on the job too. So we have to make sure that we see them on time. So we work like a machine in an isolated room. And when we start and finish, sometime in a break time, we're doing our administrative things, writing referral letters, talking to the manager, requesting for topping off the stuff and instruments or whatever, all kinds of these things. So, and then you leave. So this profession is quite isolating. And then most of the time, most dentists, they work very long hours, like the awkward posture, even though now I've seen younger population getting more and more educated in this. They have joined gyms, they're doing the training, very good. But it actually affects our, neck, shoulder, posture, back, it's a very awkward posture we're working. We're working hands-on. So these kind of thing, basically. So we need to make a proper strategy how we can manage stress. And also, if people don't talk about the issues because they think the other person will judge them, So we need to create our own safe space, friends and colleagues, where we can discuss our cases. If you're stressed, you need to find the safe colleague, safe partner where you can discuss your issues, spend time with your family and friends, take day break as the office staff does. Take day break. Obviously, someone other day I was listening to someone, and he said a very nice thing. He said, this dentistry, basically this profession is like a golden cuff. We have a
Yeah,
golden
yeah.
handcuff.
That's the
So
word.
we have a golden handcuff. So we earning money as long as we're hands on. And when we will stop working, we will not get the pay. This is the pressure on the dentist because we are self-employed. We don't get our, what you call it, basically paid leave or, sick leave or whatever. So when we stop working, we don't get paid. When we're on holiday, we're not paid for the holidays as compared to the other professions. So this is something, there's a pressure to earn more and more, pay the taxes, pay the bills. And then most of the dentists, they have more outgoings. They're sending their children to the private schools or private tuitions, buying bigger properties because they're dentists. They have to have their status, they have to have their standard, So there are lots of outgoings. And they are basically, they are working from page one paycheck to the other paycheck, basically. So it's like they are in a loophole. They
Yeah.
in a vicious circle, basically. So this is actually very stressful. So we need to touch this basically topic so other dentists can listen. And obviously, if they are struggling with the stress, they're not alone. It doesn't mean if the good dentist doesn't go through stress. I have seen many good, fantastic, excellent dentists. They go through the stresses as well. So talk about it, discuss about it, get the right support. And I think there's also pressure of giving the excellent, ideal clinical outcome to be like perfect. So just make this thing in your mind, that you can't be perfect. So most of the time, the dentists, I've seen girls, they call me and they say, Bazgah, we have done this, no patient is coming back and they want this money back. So I said, that's the thing failed. It's not your work failed. You have done a fantastic job, but you can't control the biology of the patient. If something is failed, something is failed. Why we take blames on ourselves? We are so good, especially dentists. We're so good in taking blames to our shoulder. So this is something I think we need to understand.
All right, so quick one. Before we carry on, if you are a dental practice owner or you are a dentist and you've got a story worth telling, go to betweenpatients.online and I would love to have you on the show. So go to betweenpatients.online, make sure you apply, and I'll personally get back to you with a date, time, and topic to discuss. Let's get back to the episode. I believe it's one of the core issues actually,
Yeah.
because I personally have validated this problem by myself. Because I've spoken with hundreds of dental practices across the UK. And whenever I ring their line and speak with one of the receptionists, they always say the owner, the dentist, the principal dentist is busy. They're in surgery, they're with a
Busy.
patient.
Yes. Ah.
It doesn't matter which part of the day it is, right? Whether that's morning, that's afternoon, that's evening. I have called almost every single hour of the day. And they always mention the principal dentist is currently doing the surgery or is it with a patient. I mean, I find it really disturbing because specifically for the lunch hours as well, right? They just don't have enough time,
They
right?
don't have enough
As you
time.
mentioned, if they are the practice owner, they're just doing the admin work, right? Or let's suppose if they are the dentist, even in the lunch hour, I really doubt if they have time to have a cup of coffee or even eat their food as well.
Yeah, like me, I have a very brief lunch because I need to cover my clinical hours because I do the school run as well. So just a coffee, I don't do lunch. And most of the dentists, what they do, but I started doing it and it actually helped. Just change, just close the room. I just switch off the light, close the room and lay down, and just switch off everything, just rest basically.
So, Dr. Bazgah, we have definitely addressed the main problem itself that the dentists, they just don't have enough time. And of course, there are in the golden handcuff, just like you've
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah.
But apart from, being isolated, of course, being as an associate dentist, that's an isolating job. But apart from isolation, what do you think is the other root cause that typically leads towards that sort of stress, the 17.6% suicidal rate, and the thoughts they typically get? What do you think is the other root cause for that?
And I have done that research as well, actually. It's a very right question you asked at the right time. So there was a research and they fear of litigation and regulation. So, these are the main biggest stressors. So when even if you have done, if they provide the appropriate care, their dentists still have fear of litigation. So if something goes wrong, again, we shouldn't be owning the biology. If something goes wrong, it goes wrong. Like for any other medical profession, that's what happened. They sign the consent. But in dentistry, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Even if the consent is signed or whatever, if something happened, then this is affair. And this been reported. And there's one more research. I think I've been looking for these things. There was, where is that? Again, this is a BDA survey. It's the British Dental Association annual survey. So they're saying the morale is declining among dentists. So in 2015, 14% rated high morale. So they say their morale is high or very high. And then in 2023, only 20% rated high morale. So there's like a 80% they don't have any high morale. And again, and then it continues like the willingness to recommend dentistry as a career dropped from 50% in 2015 to 35 to 36%. So in 2015, 50% of the dentists, they were recommending dentistry as a career. And now in 2023, only 35, 36%, they recommend dentistry as a career. It's because of all of those things, and main cause is the fear of litigation, pressure, and all of those things, because when the patient come, they're already anxious, they are in pain, and emotions are very high. And we are working in a very sensitive area. Mouth is really sensitive area. So again, like giving injection, all of those things, So even I have seen these dentists, even they have done things right. The patient, they leave a bad review because there's something they haven't perceived right from the dentist. And that actually causing lots of stress for the dentist. So that's what I recommend most of dentists. When you go home, don't check your reviews, because if you have done right, no one will have time to give you a positive review. But if even a slightest thing, even if they feel, they're gonna put the bad review on the website. So whenever you get a good review, don't be super excited, because one day one patient will give you a bad review. So this is kind of public dealing. It's not with the dentist. In any other field, it's same.
Yep.
But the dentists, they are feeling it more because of our nature of our job, because its profession is so isolated, as I told you. We're working in isolation, and we don't discuss because we think other person will judge us wrong, basically.
Yeah, I believe it's important because dentistry itself as a profession where the articulation and communication and the intimate relationship is required between the dentist and the patients to really calm down those anxious patients. Again, it comes back to the same thing. These are skills. These are, I'd say, soft skills that seem like they're not, they don't have enough value. But at the end of the day, it just turns out not to be helping them to calm down those anxious patients. But of course, at the end of the day, it's going to lead to ensure that their stress levels are not at that particular threshold, just like you've mentioned, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also, on top of that, I definitely want to mention a particular point as well. So you mentioned about litigation, you mentioned about the dentistry profession itself. Dentists, they are isolated as well. But the question really is, why don't dentists talk to each other about this sort of issue?
It's because why don't I talk about it? Fear of like judgment. Maybe someone will misjudge them, maybe. But personally speaking, I will tell my own experience, So we have a good friends. So we have made a nice group of dentists to cope with this kind of things. So even though we are working in different clinics, we're working in isolation. But if something goes wrong and we need an opinion, we call. So we made a group of dentists. If anything we want to discuss, we discuss, and then we speak about it, we talk about it, and then we feel better. And if you don't do that, you will have sleepless night. You will keep on thinking about that. And why in dentistry this is more? Because the medical profession, they are more regulated as compared to dentistry. Dentistry is not that much regulated because we are self-employed. In hospitals, if something goes wrong, there is a system that will protect the doctors. But in dentistry, we don't have that kind of system, because we are associates, we are self-employed, even if it's a principal dentist. So there is not such system. I think there have been few associations who are actually working to help dentists. But again, this is actually really important to make your own friends group, dentist friend group, who can understand, who can listen to you when you're stressed, and discuss this option, because only the dentist can understand what you're talking about, not the other non-dentist person. And when it's like any other stress, when we talk about it, you feel it less. It's the same thing,
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
and so that's how our friend group we are doing. So right now, basically, we are doing I'm doing a training for these fresh graduates, and that's a plan to give them a platform, so they can discuss the cases. And so without any fear of judgment. So we're not going to judge if they are asking any question. It's not like a too stupid or silly question. Just ask us, because asking questions, seeking help means you want better for your patient. So good professional will always ask help to give a better quality of care to the patient, basically. So that's why what I'm trying to create the platform. So where dentists can actually communicate, discuss about their challenges, and so it will feel less. So mostly it's the feeling when you're suffering alone, then you feel it more. So I will say to all of my fellow colleagues, fellow dentists, please don't suffer alone. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Even the BDA, they have the services. Your indemnity have the services, and we don't approach them. We don't approach them. So there's nothing harm to approach them. There are some private therapists as well. So if you and it's not only the dentistry stress. There's a work professional stress. Then you have your personal life. There's some other kind of stresses going on. So then you reach to a breaking point. You know what I mean? So if you
Sure.
think you're reaching to a breaking point where you can't cope, so then it's a time to get help, get therapy. So we are not in a really modern era, so we shouldn't be looking down to these kind of things, because this will help and make good fellow colleagues group basically where you can talk about these kind of things. So usually they say whenever we have get together, they say, no dental talking, please, only other stuff. No, if you want to talk, please talk, and any talking is good. If that makes you feel better, go on, speak about it, talk about it. Have day breaks, as my nurse was saying it, the office girls, they take day breaks, take breaks. Obviously, you will earn little bit less, but your efficiency will be more. When you're more efficient, you were telling you $2 book type thing, so you will give more value to the patient. That's what I've realized. When my diary is fully booked, revenue wise, I'm not that great, because in my mind it's just a time pressure. I have to see every patient in 15 minutes, do my notes, record keeping, and they call the next patient on time. So I don't deliver that kind of quality of care. So when I've got fewer patients, I feel relaxed, and then I generate more revenue because I give my quality time to the patient. So we have a nice chat, we discuss, I'll try to find out what they want, and then they sign up for the smile makeovers and whatever, because then I understand what they're looking for, which you can't in 10, 15 minutes actually. So taking day break will help. It will refresh yourself. You will have more energy. You will have more positive energy, and then you will start fresh. So that's what I do with my nurse. I tell my nurse, you know what, give me 2 minutes break. We will catch up. Even the patient running late, we need this 2-minute break so we can give better quality time to our patient.
Absolutely. I
And
believe
exercises, do
dentists.
exercise. Sorry, I forgot them. Doing exercises, join the gym, Pilates, yoga, because that helps your mental health as well.
Just like you've mentioned over here, I believe having mental clarity for the dentist specifically is really important. So a couple of things that you really mentioned, just for the sake of the summary. So they should have their breaks. They should speak to other individuals and dentists and talk about the problems and feelings they're really going through. And just like you mentioned, so if you really express our feeling, it tends to drop the amount of stress that we have, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Only
Okay. And
speaking,
of
yeah.
course, yes, I was also speaking to, forgot the full name, but Dr. Sun. He's based in Australia and he's a bodybuilder, right? Definitely, I would be having him on the podcast as well in most probably September. So it's going to be sharing tips in regards to exercise, going to the gym, all this sort of bodybuilding, ensuring your body is naturally fit, and ensuring that, because if your body is physically fit, right, it's directly going to impact your mental clarity. It's directly going to impact
Exactly.
your mental health. So I believe if the dentists watching or listening this podcast just implement these steps, and definitely your life would definitely change, and that you would absolutely have the mental clarity you're looking forward for, right?
Exactly. And stop having, I think we need to set up the realistic expectation from our clinical outcome, because as a dentist, we want some super, outcomes, clinical outcomes. So just set up the realistic clinical expectation that you can't actually achieve perfection. So make it really clear. This is one thing. Then seek professional help whenever it is needed. Talk to your peer sport, your group, you and the professional help like BDA, your indemnity, if it is needed, and day breaks, exercise. So this actually, all of these tips.
Perfect. And just one question I want to ask for the sake of dentists listening or watching out there. Dr. Bazgah, imagine this. There's a dentist listening to this right now, somewhere in the UK or across the globe, crying in the car. What do you have to say to them?
You're not alone. You're not alone. So if you want to cry, cry, So if that makes you feel better, so go for it, cry. But as I said, talk about it. So why you need to ask yourself why you are crying, because at one point you have set up those unrealistic expectations, and you're going to give this kind of do the treatment, and this you will get a excellent perfect clinical outcome. And if that is not, patient is not happy, plus you have some personal issues going on. So life is like a balance. Life is like up and down. So there was one guy, there was a priest actually online, I was listening to him, and he was saying, when there's a heart, the ECG is up and down, that's mean the patient
Yep.
is alive. When it goes
Yep.
straight, that's mean it's death. So life is up and down. Accept it, embrace it. So point is not to avoid the stress. Point is basically the key is to cope your stress in a healthy, healthy way. Just embrace it and seek help whenever it's needed, and don't be shy of seeking help. So we are human beings. We are not machines. So we can do mistakes, and 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 I'm sure all of us, we want better for our patient. We want better for our family, but we can't be like 100% perfect. So because we're a human being, so we need to make this thing understand if you want to stay happy and fulfilled
Yep.
with your life and with your career.
Absolutely. That's the goal. It's intense. You're not alone. And I believe life is just like roller coaster. 1 minute down,
Roller
next minute
coaster,
up.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And for the sake of the young dentist, just starting out in the UK dentistry or in
Mm.
dentistry profession itself, what do they need to hear before this profession hardens them?
So dentistry is deeply rewarding profession. Dentistry has given me so much. It has given me freedom. It has given me better quality of life. So I can manage my work-life balance. So dentistry is deeply rewarding, very good profession, but it can be challenging and stressful. So come down to that root, and so you need to have strong nerves, and you need to have your stress managing strategies. And if you have you can get support when it's needed, and to remember who to contact, and just if you're lacking some skills, do some clinical skill training, you know. So get some hobbies, It's not, don't only focus on the dentistry. As I said, the dentistry is like golden calf. So we get into that vicious circles to keep on earning and earning, earning. No. So get other non-dental related hobbies, which will open your, like thinking perspective, and you can see life more beautiful. Go in the greenery, No, I just, it's whenever you get stressed, have a nice, lovely walk, and see the sunset and sunshine, all of those things. It's just appreciate all of those things. And this is life, life is up and down. So
Absolutely. I
dentistry is
believe
rewarding. It is challenging. Come and be prepared for that.
100%. Just be prepared for that. And I believe one thing I've really found in myself as in my life as well that really helps me in these sort of difficult times as well, because I run a business as well. Having this podcast, I'm running my own company, Selenikia, then author of a book and a couple of more stuff as well. Though I just absolutely love doing this part. It's just one thing, some days are definitely gloomy. It's just one thing I
Yeah.
really find it interesting and amazing. It's just supplication itself. I mean,
Mm.
if you just supplicate from your whole heart, the way it releases all that stress alone is just, I believe everything can be taken under, all of the things that you mentioned, do exercise, all that. I believe supplication is something that is superior amongst all of that. It
It
just
does.
releases all that stress that I had, and I feel like all my all my stress has just been transferred to Allah Azza wa Jal, and He can further take care of that.
It does. It does. That's what I do. Whenever I start my day, I tell my now we a single small thing. So I say, I tell to my nurse, Catalin, today we'll be focusing on breathing. So she get panicked quite a lot. She just things are lab work is missing, things are missing. She get panicked. I said, Catalin, we'll be focusing on breathing. She said, oh yeah, I think I'm not breathing properly. So every day I tell her do something. I said next day we'll say, okay, we're gonna be then give gratitude. So what we have, you know. So imagine, like 10 years ago where we were and now where we are. So just appreciate all of those things. So that it gives like positivity. And as you're saying, meditation, supplication, in your break time, just meditate, supplicate, and it helps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect, amazing. I believe that was a wonderful session regarding how we can manage our stress. And I want to get into just the last part of the podcast is you teach now. Okay. After
Yeah.
everything,
It's
why
a new
give your
thing.
time? Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
new
I mean,
thing.
definitely. I'll talk about that one as well, the December course
Yeah.
in Lahore. But why give your time to training other dentists out there?
When I graduated, I got a job as a teacher in one of it's a Magna Institute of Dentistry in Islamabad. So, but I'm like a practical lady. I'm a practical clinical person, like hands-on person. So this is not like teaching. It's basically clinical skill training, basically. So mostly hands-on. So the fresh
Okay.
graduates, I've seen fresh graduates when they come, and I've noticed there were a few of them. They were sitting like in a room, and one of the girl, she started crying. She said, "I only, I became dentist just to make my parents happy, but I don't know what to do because it's so." When the patient comes, you have to plan. You need to deliver the treatment straight away, and they don't have that. They know that they have the knowledge, you know. The theory is okay, but how to implement the theory practically, because that come with the practical skills, So that's what I'm doing. So for the fresh graduates, we're doing that clinical, hands-on clinical training, which will be touching all the skills which they want to get more support, like root canals, extractions, crown prep, veneer prep, which will they learn eventually in 5 years or 6 years time, no doubt about it. But if they do this course, that's going to boost their career. That will boost their value of treatment, basically. You mentioned about your book, 2 pound book. Like 2 pound dentist. Sorry, 2 pound dentist.
So it's the $2 dentist. Why?
$2 dentist. So
Yeah.
so you get you have a patient. You choose a treatment which is more highly paying. There's a one patient doing checkups and cleaning. It's not that much paid. When you're doing veneers, crown, and root canals, obviously that's really more paid. So when you have those kind of skills, so even seeing few patients a day, you'll be generating a good revenue, basically, and that will be rewarding, not only financially, also psychologically, that you are doing well. So as I said, you will learn in 5-6 years anyway. But with this kind of hands-on course, that will give you a boost, and you will start working with the confidence, and also that will create your peer group, which I was mentioning. So you will have a peer group. If you have any issue, you guys can text us, call us, speak to us. We'll be there to help you guys.
Amazing. So it's going to be December course in Lahore, and you're going to be
December,
taking
yes.
on new dental graduates and training them hands-on with Rashid Latif, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when exactly is the date?
It's 16th December.
16th of December. All right, that's perfect. You also mentioned about the Margla Institute. It's quite ironic, is I'll also be presenting over there as a guest speaker. Around the third or second week of August. I have to just confirm the date and time. But it's going to be about the dental schools. They teach you how to become a great clinician, but they just never teach you how to run your practice one day. So I'll
Mm,
definitely be covering that aspect as well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
once that is out, I'll definitely share you that recording as well.
yeah. That will be good. That will be good. Yeah.
Definitely. And lastly, Dr. Bazgah, where exactly can all these wonderful people listening and watching you right now, where exactly can they find you?
Instagram, TikTok. I have got platform in TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. No, Facebook is so old fashioned. No, not Facebook.
We're not, you've been 5 years into the dentistry. It's now 25 years, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Facebook is too old. It's for unk. My children say it's for unk. No, it's for uncles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's Instagram and TikTok as well.
Sure. So what's the Instagram handle?
It's my name, Dr. Bazgah Siddique.
All right, perfect. Make sure you drop her a follow, Dr. Bazgah Siddique, and any sort of questions you've got regarding stress, regarding the December course, just feel
Yeah,
free to DM her, and she would be more than happy to support you out.
yeah. Why not? Why not?
So if you're a dentist or a practice owner and you want to be my guest on Between Patients, then make sure you check out betweenpatients.online and apply there. It's only going to take you 30 seconds and I'll personally get back to you with a date, time, and a really hot topic to discuss and your story as well. So make sure you check that out and make sure you apply. And if you want to go deeper on the business side of dentistry, make sure you check out my book, The $2 Dentist. It covers why exactly great dentists, they build broke practices. It's got 90 days installed and it's got 18 working tools for your dental practice. Again, it's going to be on betweenpatients.online. There's going to be a top announcement bar that the book is officially live. Make sure you check that out as well. And I'll be uploading new episodes every single week. I'm Muhammad Moiskaram, founder and CEO at Selenic AI, host at Between Patients, and author of The $2 Dentist. See you on the next one.